Are you thinking about moving to Massachusetts? From snowy winters to charming historic neighborhoods, here's everything you need to know to make the perfect move. Hey, I'm Javi, a local realtor here in Massachusetts, and I'm actually making this video to make sure that you guys understand everything about, I guess, moving to Massachusetts. Not just Boston, but Massachusetts as a whole. That way you guys are well prepared and you guys don't get blindsided. Because I can tell you many, many times, I'm not even thinking about moving, but traveling to different countries around the world, I've not known certain things. So I've had to get accustomed in a quick sort of way. And also, I've had to make certain purchases clothing wise because I was not prepared to be there. But I don't want to talk about me here. I'm talking about Massachusetts. So the first things first, and I have bullet points here, so I make sure I get everything for you guys, is the weather. There's 4 seasons here in Massachusetts. There's winter, spring, summer, and fall. These are the 4 seasons. Now, the winters, they can be rather cold. And when I mean cold, can be windy, they can be snowy. Sometimes it gets below 0 degrees Celsius. Usually it doesn't get around that, but as of late, as of the last couple of years, but it can get down there. But you should expect snow. You should expect snowy winds. And this affects you because let's say you have an ideal living situation. Well, most likely you have to commute to work. Excuse me. Some of us working from home, but most of the times you have to commute. So this is going to put a lag time on your commute, whether it's be public transportation or it be you drive. Sometimes we don't have the luxury of walking to work, especially in the wintertime. It gets really snowy out there, so just keep that in mind if you do plan on coming to Massachusetts. Now, in the springtime, it's a little bit more lenient. It's a little bit easier to move around here in Massachusetts. It's going to be very beautiful with, trees blossoming, flowers blossoming, everything coming out, and it's being rather beautiful, to be honest with you. The only thing I would suggest you to do is if you don't have allergies, you might as well get tested, or if you realize you do have allergies, just stock up on some allergy medicine. I know I realize I have allergies here in the seasons. I don't have allergies elsewhere, but I have allergies here. It's a lot of flowers, a lot of blossoming of things like that. It's a great time to get out there. Now, the summer times here are humid. They are humid. There's no other way around it. It gets hot, it gets humid, especially if you're in the city. It gets spicy out there. I would suggest you guys dress rather lightly, and just be aware that it does get warm. It's awesome summer times. I love the summer times here because obviously allergy season is over, but there's a bunch of outdoor events, concerts, not even in the city, but around Massachusetts. There's really cool events coming around all over. And if you guys want a video about the events that are happening in Massachusetts this summertime, I can definitely make a video about that. But it's actually really nice to be either in the city or in the outskirts of the city, because in the summertime, I can speak for myself, Massachusetts, we're like central to a lot of states that are surrounding. Like we have a great state surrounding us. So if you don't like the city life, if you're tired of city life, for example, you can get out. What does that mean? You can go to Newport for a weekend, which is beautiful. I love Newport. It's in Rhode Island. It's roughly an hour and a half away, maybe an hour 25 minutes at most. Okay. Let's say you want to go to the Cape. You can go to Falmouth. You can go anywhere on the Cape. I love P-Town personally. P-Town is just a place to be. It's amazing art, beautiful people, just a great environment, and it's a nice beach town. I love P-Town. It's wonderful. Or you could go to New Hampshire. There's Hampton Beach. A lot of people love to go to Hampton Beach. Or if you're really feeling like you really want to feel another city, New York City is just 3-4 hours away max. And a lot of people like to go to New York City year round, actually. But we're here talking about Massachusetts, the things that we can do around here. And then there's fall. I think, guys, my favorite season out of all the seasons has to be fall. And it's amazing. It's beautiful because I love hiking. This is the best season to go hiking because it's not too warm, not too cold. It's just really lukewarm. You get to pack well. You get to dress nicely. My favorite stuff is sweatshirts. Wear a nice sweatshirt, some good pants, some sneakers, and you just go hiking. You put your headphones on if you like to, or if you want to go hiking with friends. Personally, I love Blue Hills. Blue Hills is a great place to go hiking. It's near my house. I live here in a nice town surrounding Blue Hills, but there's a bunch of great hiking like areas here in Massachusetts. You can go to Worcester, you can go a little bit north and the North Shore, but if you really want to do some real hiking and see some beautiful, picturesque views, you can. New Hampshire is like 1.5 hours away, and you can go to Lanconia Park. It's absolutely gorgeous. People go for the picturesque, all that kind of stuff, and they go for actually as well. I forgot to talk about the winter time. New Hampshire and Vermont for skiing, snowboarding. You can do all that stuff in the winter time. It's super easy to get there from here in Massachusetts, but the fall time, I would go to. I always mispronounce this highway, Kankamangas. I always mess it up. I'll put it in the chat if you guys really need it. If you search Kekamangas Highway, I think that's the name. It's the most beautiful, picturesque highway for fall season, in my honest opinion. I've been around. I think it's my favorite. It just takes you through. It's not like a literal highway where you go high speed. It's like a literal road through the mountains, goes up the mountain, all around. There's a bunch of people that do it. And there's a bunch of stops on the sides where it's views. Like you can pull over, there's parking, and there's a spot where it's like a gazebo and everybody can just go and take pictures or just take in the view. And it's beautiful because when you go there and you see this is in the fall season, so all the leaves are changing. So you see like hundreds, not it's not even hundreds, it's like just acres and acres and acres and acres of just land, but it's all with trees, and you see like red, green, yellow, like some purple trees. Like it's absolutely beautiful during the fall season. So if you like that kind of stuff and you like hiking, that is my personal recommendation. During the fall season, I also go to Vermont. Before I became a vegan, which is a temporary thing, I hope, but you know, I'm a vegan now. uh, I would say that Vermont, I used to go always go in the fall time because I'd go get goat cheese, I'd go get cheeses, milks. I'd go there for like a weekend and just go to the farms, grab these things, and also just like enjoy the hiking and the scenery around Vermont. I mean, Vermont, New Hampshire, it's all the same. Not all the same, but it gives you the same result as in like you can get out there into pure nature. Massachusetts has that, but it's always been like known for New Hampshire and Vermont to just be out there. So those are the seasons. In this fall season as well, I'd recommend for you dress wise. The it gets a little chilly, but not too cold. If you're coming from West Coast, it's gonna be freezing for you. Wintertime is gonna be absolutely like horrid for you. So I'd prepare. I dress warmly. Now, choosing the right neighborhood, guys. Now we're gonna get into the neighborhood section of this. There's a bunch of different areas you can live in Massachusetts. You can have city life, you can have suburban, you can have coastal living, rural, small towns, like really cool little niche areas. Um, City life, obviously Boston. Boston and areas surrounding would be more like suburban areas surrounding Boston. I would say like Newton, Brookline, Watertown. Watertown's a little bit more closer to the city as well, but they all border this Boston area. Boston is, if you really want to live in the city, beautiful condos, townhouses, and if you are lucky, you can get into a single family in the Boston area. Certain areas will allow single families. It's more of a townhouse style living, but if you go in the outskirts like West Roxbury and Roxbury itself, Jamaica Plain, you can get single families. Just expect that you're going to be on the higher end of the spectrum for prices and paying. Now you can get multifamilies, excuse me, in East Boston, Chelsea, Dorchester, all around Boston, to be honest with you. But most often, I see clients get condos in the area. It's a good middle area. It's between a multifamily and a single family, like in that kind of spectrum. But it depends all on to the person. If you want a single family home or a townhouse condo, you want to spend the big bucks. Suburban areas around Boston. Personally, I like Canton, South Shore. I like Randolph, Stoughton on the North Shore. I like Medford, Malden, Melrose. I can't talk about the school systems, but I've heard good things about Melrose. And Brookline, Newton, those are the higher end for single families as well because of, let's talk about the school systems. They are rated. You can check them out online. They are rated well. So people like to live there. Now, coastal living. Guys, who doesn't want to live on the water? There's Cape Cod. Cape Cod is absolutely phenomenal. I love every area of Cape Cod. Some areas I like a little bit less, but I still love them. It's a great area if you want to live in, if you want to live on the water. When I was a kid, I knew a person that was on the Coast Guard. He loved his life on the water. He lived right next to the water. Beautiful single family home, had a huge yacht. We just went from house to yacht like super easy. We got shellfish, we got fresh, fish. It was exciting, and he lived there year round. He said, he didn't mind the changes of the season. It just, you have to be aware if you live on the coast in that area specifically, Cape Cod, or even in the North Shore, like Newburyport. Newburyport's a wonderful town. It's actually not too far from the city as well. It will be seasonal. What does that mean? Guys, let's just say in the summertime, you're going to be super packed with people around the area. But when it comes to winter, it's going to be like a ghost town. It's going to be very little people, if not any people, very minimal, just the locals. And if you like that kind of idea, wonderful. That's perfect. And rural small towns, like there's some small towns west of the city and very rural in that aspect, like farms. Like, for example, south of the city, I would consider rural/suburban is Sharon. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of farms. There's so many farms in the Sharon area, and it's big pieces of land. You have vast pieces of land in Sharon. So, if you like these different kinds of vibes, these different kinds of areas, you should just be aware. And just a pro tip, look into these different types of areas. Like if you are looking for a realtor to be like, hey, I want to live in this type of area or this type of area, they're going to be able to recommend different towns. And we strongly recommend you do your research as well on these towns that we recommend, or you come in and just tell us, what towns you were thinking of, and we can give you our honest opinions on it, okay? Whether you're going to move to rent or to buy, we can give you the honest opinions on everything that we believe to know to the best of our ability in these towns. Now, if you're asking me, Javi, what do you think about working in the city but living in a suburban town? That's what I've done. I've lived in a suburban town. I work in the city. I absolutely love it. It's just depending. You have to. I'm stuttering real quick just because I'm trying to formulate this thought. You have to be aware of the commute. Now, sometimes if you get in the rut and like the not rush hour, you'll get into the city like quick. Like for example, me, if I wanted to get into the city non-rush hour, it's 18, 20 minutes tops. But when it's rush hour, it's an hour and 25 minutes. So it really varies. It depends on what you're looking for. And if you only go to the office 1 to 2 times a week, if that, I would recommend just live in the suburbs if you don't need city life. If you have a family and you want to have a great school system and you want to have a relaxed life, not saying that you can't do that in Boston, but if you want to pay less to get more, suburbs. But if you are in the city, you have to go to the office several times a week, or you want your kids to go into the city school systems and you want to get them into those areas, obviously live in the city. It just depends on what you're looking for, So those are the pointers that I have for you guys. Now, the types of homes in Massachusetts, now I'm going to be honest with you guys. Most of the homes in Massachusetts are older. It's just the truth. They're fully renovated sometimes they're not fully renovated, but the homes here are older. Like in Texas, for example, to give you a comparison, they're brand new construction homes. This is great. But in Massachusetts, they're renovated homes or homes that need renovating. So you just have to be aware that most of the homes here are going to be older. Now, if you get a newer construction, which there are lots of new constructions, you will be paying top tier. And here in Massachusetts, let's just say on the prices, we're on the higher end of the price range, compared to other states like, you know, Texas. You can get way more in Texas than you get here, but then in Massachusetts, it's way different. This is an older town, an older city. We have history here, a lot of history. Not that Texas doesn't. I'm not shooting down Texas. Texas is great. I love Texas. But we have historic buildings. We have brownstones. We have all these things. Obviously, these things are going to be a little bit more expensive. So the types of homes you can get: historic homes, new construction, condos and apartments, uh, seasonal and coastal properties, or you could live in those year round too. I'm not saying you can't. Um, I love the coastal properties myself. It's just I love the water. I've always loved, sitting there having a cup of coffee. Let's say I have a fire on the side and I'm looking at the water. It's so nice reading a book. It's beautiful, and I listen to jazz. I put it on the records. But I would say that condos and apartments are most common in the city. And if you want to live on the coast as well, and you want to have a place, let's say you want to have a primary home and a coastal home, people usually buy secondary coastal homes, either a small ranch style property on the Cape or Newburyport, or straight up they just get condos and it's fine. And a lot of people live in townhouses. So my tip would be just browse the inventory, see what fits for your liking, what your budget is, and if what I give tips, what tips I give to my clients. Sorry, I'm all over the place here today. You guys can tell. The tips I give you is, let's say you can't afford the ideal property that you want. I'm stuttering. Let's say you want a single family home and it's a big house, but you don't have that budget. You're just shy of it. Well, my recommendation that I have for all my clients is, that's okay. Let's get you into a home that's a little bit of a starter home or a jump home, if you will, a bridge home. And when I say bridge home or start home, is essentially, let's get you into a home that's within your budget, or a townhouse that's within your budget, maybe in the town that you do want. All right. And from there, you'll build up the equity, and then you can jump to the house that you want to. You can sell it in 1 to 2 years, 2 years ideally, so you can build up the equity. You'll have that equity to jump into the next house, and you will not be wasting your time. Now, that is what I have for you guys today. I know I went all over the place with different things. I talked about houses. I talked about historic homes. I talked about weather. I talked about, the seasons, the neighborhoods. I just wanted to get this out to you guys because I know that a lot of you don't know Massachusetts at all. You don't know what to expect for the weather. You don't know what to expect for the type of housing or neighborhoods or areas. This video is just to give you a general, broad view of what to expect here in Massachusetts and to be prepared. Because let's say you're moving to Massachusetts. Let's say, you are setting up a rental, or you want to buy a house here in Massachusetts. You don't know where to buy, or you don't know, how to prepare, because let's say you talk to a fantastic realtor like myself, you got yourself a home, but you don't know how to prepare to come here to Massachusetts. Well, this video is to kind of prepare you and to get you on the right mindset on what to expect here in Massachusetts and what awesome things you can get into. If you're coming here during the winter time, which is when I'm filming this, kind of winter, November 4th, um, you know, pack a little bit heavier in the aspect of, like, bring warmer clothes. Um, if you like to ski, or you want to ski or snowboard, there's places that we can recommend you to go, and it'll be fun. And you can get into cool things like, skating in Boston. There's the skating rink. There's the skating, Frog's Pond. And there's a bunch of cool ballets during this season. There's plays, musicals, all this stuff. In Massachusetts, there's a bunch of things to do. So I know I'm ranting. I'm talking way too much. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. And if you guys are looking to buy or sell, or any questions about the market here in Massachusetts, just give me a ring. My details are below. And have a great day, guys. Enjoy.